Most people believe they know how to build wealth. Earn money, invest it. Wait, that sequence is incomplete. Not incomplete in a small way, incomplete in a way that can quietly cost you hundreds of thousands of pounds or dollars over a lifetime. And the strangest part? Nobody ever told you there was an order. The Federal Reserve found that 37% of American adults could not cover a $400 emergency using cash or its equivalent. In the UK, the Financial Conduct Authority found that 1 in 10 adults have no cash savings at all. Another 21% have less than £1,000 available when a crisis arrives. That is tens of millions of people, one unexpected bill away from borrowing. And many of those same people are asking which stocks to buy. Which fund has the strongest 5-year record? Which asset class is heating up in 2026? Here is what that looks like from the outside. Imagine filling a bucket with water while a large hole sits at the bottom. You pour harder, the level never rises. The hole is still there. That hole has a name: high interest debt, running at a guaranteed rate, often 20%, 25%, or higher, every single day it is left open. But here is what nobody tells you. The sequence of your financial decisions matters more than almost any individual choice within them. Not just what you invest in, when, and in what order. The wealth problem most people face is not a return problem. It is a structure problem. 5 chapters, 1 sequence. By the end of it, you will understand something most investors, even experienced ones, have never stopped to examine. Step 1 of the wealth order is not exciting. It is not a stock pick. It is not a hot sector. It is not a strategy that will make you feel clever at a dinner party. It is a buffer. Before a single pound or dollar goes anywhere near an investment account, you need an emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses, held somewhere safe, accessible, and completely separate from money you plan to invest. Here is why this matters more than the investment strategy you came here for. Without that buffer, a single crisis, a redundancy, a broken boiler, a medical bill that cannot wait, forces you to sell your investments. And if that crisis arrives during a market downturn, you are forced to sell at the worst possible moment. That is how people lock in losses they never had to take. Vanguard research found that individuals with at least $2,000 in emergency savings scored 21% higher on financial well-being measures than those with nothing set aside. Not $20,000, $2,000. The psychological impact of even a modest buffer, the ability to stay calm, stay invested, stay rational, is measurable before a single return has been earned. Most people stop here. They should not, because step 2 is where the mathematics become undeniable. Once the emergency fund exists, the next move is to eliminate high-interest debt. Anything above roughly 8% annually deserves your full attention first, though that threshold shifts depending on current market conditions and your specific situation. Credit cards are the obvious target. In both the UK and the US, credit card interest rates commonly run above 20%. Consider what that means in plain terms. Paying off a debt charging you 22% interest is mathematically similar to earning a guaranteed 22% return on that money. The S&P 500's long-run historical average is often cited as around 10% per year, before inflation. After inflation, that number is lower. You are not reliably beating a guaranteed 22% by investing in equities. That is not what the market is for. The method that saves the most money across the widest range of situations is the debt avalanche. List every debt by interest rate. Pay the minimum on all of them. Then direct every spare pound or dollar at the highest rate first. When it falls, move to the next. It is not the most emotionally satisfying method. It is the most mathematically efficient one. And this is where it gets stranger, because there is one situation where pausing aggressive debt repayment, even while carrying expensive debt, is almost certainly the right call. One exception, and it applies to most people in employment right now. The exception is your employer's pension or retirement matching contribution, and it may be the single most valuable financial opportunity most workers never fully collect. Here is the arithmetic. If your employer matches 50 pence for every pound you contribute, your money grows by 50% before it has been invested in a single asset. If they match pound for pound, it doubles. Before one market move, before 1 percentage point of growth, the return is already there the moment you contribute. Even carrying credit card debt at 22%, a 50% or 100% employer match on the matched portion can still win on the numbers. But the strategy must be precise. Contribute exactly enough to capture the full employer match. Then stop. Redirect everything else back to eliminating the high-interest debt. Once the debt is gone, return and build the pension or retirement account properly from there. But here is what nobody tells you about what comes next. Most people, once the debt is cleared, assume the logical move is to simply pour money into any investment platform and begin. There is a better step first, and most people walk straight past it. Every major economy offers some form of tax-advantaged investment account. In the UK, a stocks and shares ISA. In Canada, a TFSA, tax-free savings account. In the US, a Roth IRA, traditional IRA, or 401k. The name changes by country. The principle does not. Think of it as a vault the tax authority cannot enter. Under current rules, a UK stocks and shares ISA shelters your dividends and capital gains from UK tax entirely. A Canadian TFSA allows investments to grow and be withdrawn without triggering tax. A Roth IRA, for qualifying withdrawals, under current U.S. tax law, allows your money to come out tax-free in retirement. The account you invest through can matter almost as much as what you invest in. The difference this creates over decades is not abstract. Invest £10,000 annually for 30 years at a 7% annual return in a tax-sheltered account, and the projected result sits at roughly £944,000 before fees. Run the same numbers through a taxable account, paying tax on dividends and gains along the way, and the result is significantly lower. That gap is not a rounding error. That is decades of friction compounding against you. And for U.S. investors with a qualifying high-deductible health plan, there is one account that goes further still: the HSA, the Health Savings Account. It is the only account in the U.S. tax code designed to give you tax benefits on contributions, on growth, and on qualifying withdrawals, all three in a single structure. The records matter. Every medical receipt matters. The tax benefit on reimbursements depends on proving the expense was qualified. But handled correctly, the HSA is arguably the most powerful retirement tool most Americans have never fully opened. The accounts are open, the debt is gone, the tax structure is in place. Now what goes inside? Most people reach this point and immediately begin researching individual stocks. Which company looks undervalued? Which sector is gaining momentum? Which fund manager has the strongest recent track record? And almost all of it is noise. Over and over, the evidence shows how difficult it is to consistently beat broad market indexes after costs. Not for one strong year, not for one well-timed cycle, consistently, for decades, after fees. The record is clear. That evidence is uncomfortable if you think about it properly. Because it suggests that the activity most investors associate with being serious, analyzing, adjusting, reacting to the news, can, in many cases, reduce their returns. Not because thinking is wrong, because constant interference is expensive. The asset class that makes the most sense for most long-term investors inside these accounts is low-cost index funds. A single broad index fund tracking a global or national market gives you exposure to hundreds, sometimes thousands, of companies at once. Technology, healthcare, energy, finance, consumer goods, all of it in one holding. You are not betting on one company surviving. You are betting on human economic activity continuing. Consider the arithmetic. £100 invested monthly for 30 years at 8% annual growth. Your total contributions? £36,000. The projected result? Over £140,000. More than £100,000 of that is money you never deposited. That is compounding. Not a metaphor, arithmetic. And the S&P 500's long-run historical average before inflation has sat in the range of 8 to 10% annually, though past performance does not guarantee future results, and the real inflation-adjusted return is lower. Hold that thought, because it gets worse for anyone trying to beat this while paying high fees. Actively managed funds frequently cost significantly more than a low-cost index fund. Even a difference of 0.5% or 1% per year, invisible in any single month, quietly drains tens of thousands over decades. That money does not disappear. It transfers from your portfolio to someone else's. The final principle in this chapter is automation. Set a standing order from your bank to your investment account. Trigger it on payday, before the money touches anything else. You are now investing without making a fresh decision every month. You have removed the most dangerous element in any investment strategy: yourself. By most historical counts, the broad U.S. stock market has experienced 19 bear markets over roughly the past 150 years. A bear market, a decline of 20% or more from a recent high. Each time, the market eventually recovered. Each time, it eventually reached new highs. The Great Depression, the dot-com collapse, the 2008 financial crisis, the COVID crash of 2020. Some of those events erased more than half the market's value. And then, eventually, the market moved past where it had been before the crash ever began. The problem with reading that from the outside is that it sounds clean, logical, historical. Living through one feels nothing like that. You are not reading a record of recoveries. You are watching your balance fall. Every day, sometimes for months, sometimes for years. A Barclays survey found that 44% of non-investors cited lack of knowledge as a primary barrier. 41% cited fear of losing money. Both are understandable. Neither is the real enemy. The real enemy is the panic sell. The investor who puts money in, watches a 30% drawdown, decides they cannot take any more, and sells near the bottom, locking in a permanent loss on a temporary fall that had every historical precedent to recover. That is not investing. That is paying the market to take your money. And this is where the entire sequence in this video earns its weight. The emergency fund means you do not need to sell during a crash to cover a crisis. The cleared debt means you are not bleeding 22% interest while your portfolio falls. The employer match means you captured the highest value opportunity first. The tax-sheltered account means more of your recovery stays with you. The automated contribution means the decision to keep investing was made before the crash arrived. The structure holds, even when your emotions do not. Consider the COVID crash of March 2020. The S&P 500 fell approximately 34% between February and March of that year. By August 2020, it had recovered to its pre-crash level. Anyone who sold in March locked in that 34% loss permanently. Anyone who did nothing was made whole within 5 months. Now, the question this video opened with. Most people believe that building wealth is primarily about picking the right investments. The evidence, taken together, points somewhere else entirely. Wealth is built by controlling the sequence, the structure, and the behavior around investments, not by chasing the investments themselves. The investor who earns average returns inside a sound structure will, over time, almost certainly outperform the investor chasing exceptional returns inside a broken one. Average returns, correct sequence, patient behavior. That is the formula. It has always been the formula. Emergency fund, high interest debt gone. Employer match captured. Tax-advantaged accounts before taxable ones. Low-cost index funds. Automated contributions. Behavior held through crashes. That is the order. Follow it, and the market's long-run direction has room to do the rest. But here is the implication most people never sit with. If the sequence is this clear, this well-documented, this consistently effective, why does almost nobody follow it? Because boring does not sell. Because an emergency fund has never gone viral. Because paying off debt does not look impressive on a screenshot. Because the content economy is built around excitement. And excitement, more often than not, is the enemy of compound interest. The people building wealth quietly are rarely the ones making the most noise. They're the ones following the order. So before asking what to invest in, ask a better question. What step am I actually on? Because if the order is wrong, the investment will not save you. But if the order is right, even ordinary investments become extraordinary over time. Seal the hole, build the buffer, take the match, use the vault, buy the market, automate the behavior, then leave the machine alone. That is how wealth is built, not backwards, in order.